This video is to show you how you can interact and use the new player usage charts version 2.0 that are now on the Hockey Abstract website. The player usage chart version 2.0 is very similar to the original one on the Hockey Abstract site, except we've added a few new features. First, let's review some of the old features and how you can interact and answer the questions that you have about player usage in the NHL this season. Just like the previous charts, you can still choose your team, multiple teams, all teams. In this case, we're just going to go with Chicago. You can also choose player names. So if you have a handful of players that you would like to choose, you can find them in this list and click on just their names. You can also limit positions and also by the number of games the player has played. Since there's not many games been played so far this season, we have this set all the way to 1. Once 10 games will have passed, we'll move this slider over to 10 as the default. One of the added features to the version 2.0 this year is multiple seasons. So you can now go back and view the Chicago for last season, the 2011-2012 season, all the way back as far as the data that's been tracked on the Behind the Net site. And as before, you can also turn on or turn off the player names on the chart. We've also added a new variable with the y-axis this time. The y-axis can now be quality of competition relative Corsi, quality of competition Corsi, but also quality of teammates. The bubble coloring is similar as the previous version, except we've also added quality of teammate to this bubble coloring for the 2.0 version. Bubble sizing is very simple. It's still just time on ice or time on ice per game. One of the new features in the 2.0 player usage chart on the Hockey Abstract site is the ability to be able to filter by one of 3 stats: points per 60, goals per 60, or assists per 60, and allows you to pick just the top players for each of those stats. For instance, if we want to see who the top players are right now in the NHL and how they're being used by their team on the ice, we can select all teams for the 2013-14 season. Let's just take a look at all the forwards. So we're going to remove the defensive men from this visualization. So now we're only looking at forwards: center, right wing, and left wing. And let's take a look at the top goal scorers. So goals by 60. And 894 is the default if you want to view all the players. We just want to look at the top 5 right now in the season. So we type 5 into that box and hit enter. And now we see the top 5 players in goals per 60. And just like the previous version, if we scroll down, we can see them listed in the table. If we click on their name, we'll see them highlighted in the player usage chart above. If you hover over them in the player usage chart, you'll see additional information about them. And also, if you click on them in the chart, they'll highlight them in the table below. Another feature we've added to the version 2.0 on the Hockey Abstract site for the player usage chart is that we've added a clean image for bloggers. The clean image is just an image of the chart the way that you've created it on this first page. So if we move over to clean image for blogs, you will see just the chart with the title, the season, however many teams have been selected. The y-axis is still labeled over here. The x-axis never changes. If you scroll down to the bottom and click the share button, you can now embed this chart just by itself into your blog post, and it will be interactive, meaning people will be able to hover over each of the bubbles and be able to see the additional information, including player's name. Or let's just say you don't want it to be interactive and you just want to use the image with the players' names. We can go back, turn the names on for these players, and now we can export just the image. And if I move this over, you should be able to see it in the recording. And here's just the image that you can then embed into your blog. It's not interactive, it's just a .png file, but still, it's a little bit more useful than the previous version that had all the extra nonsense filters and everything along the sides that required you to have to crop them out before you can use them. I hope this video is helpful for you, and I hope that the new version, the version 2.0 of the player usage chart, will help you better answer some of the questions you have about how players are being used on ice by their teams during the 2013-14 season. We plan on updating the data for this from behind the net on a regular basis, usually on Mondays.